I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Wednesday, March the 31st, brought to you in part by Vitalix. Vitalix offers a complete range of tubs for any season, condition, or forage quality to meet the nutritional needs of your livestock. Get the blue tub, visit Vitalix.com. Prospective Plantings Report comes out here today on Wednesday. That's probably your biggest report as far as crops and farming goes, and even more so this year because we've seen the big run up in prices and we've got a lot of guesses on what it's going to be out there, but we're very curious to see how farmers are expected to divvy up their acres and how much they're going to devote to what crop. But there's been some early calls on that. Basically, we're looking at around 92 million acres for corn, 90 million acres for beans, and if that comes true, 182 acres for corn and soybeans. That would top 2017's record of 180.3 million acres for those two crops. But they're expecting around 45 million acres of wheat. And we're just not sure how that's going to happen. They're thinking there could be, there's been a lot of tours out there make guesses, and they make guesses as far as how much seed they've sold and things like that. And some people are saying that could be more than that on corn. If you're in the cattle business, you need more of it devoted to corn. We'd like to see 93 or 94 million acres. And then likely, and that wouldn't necessarily be bearish for corn, but it would sure limit it from going much higher, and it'd probably ease off a little bit. But your corn and beans both eased off on Tuesday. Beans hard. Beans were down over 25 cents, down hard. So maybe they're thinking there's going to be more beans, but it'll be impressive to see. And then we don't know where they're going to steal those acres. If corn and beans are higher than that, where are they going to come from? And it'll likely come from maybe spring wheat in the north, or it could come from cotton in some places. People still grow cotton, and down here in the southern plains, they're growing cotton where they shouldn't even be growing cotton, in places that we've never seen cotton before. It's the last ag crop that you can really put the screws to the government on, and so people are taking advantage of that. And if you put those programs out there, and then you've got girls helping you out in the FSA offices, people are going to get in on those deals. So, you shouldn't put those deals out there if you don't want people to take advantage of them, and that goes with all this free money stuff. But let's look at your board for Tuesday. April live cattle futures unchanged at 120.97. So that's really encouraging after the big run up on Monday, but 120.97 seems like kind of a reach when we're sitting here with a market of 115 and change, and your first delivery notice day is Monday. The hell of it is, being Monday, your first day people can tender for delivery, it's not going to bring our cash market up. All it does is help the basis out, which a lot of guys are just feeding for the basis, so they're not too concerned really, particularly what the cash market is. They're just feeding for the basis because they're all hedged up. But if people start delivering or tendering for delivery heavily next week, it'll sure bring that spot April live cattle futures contract down in a hurry. June live cattle down 42 cents on Tuesday, 122.22. And then you go on out from there, and they were just kind of mixed from down 22 cents to up 15, but not a real volatile day in your live cattle pits. How about feeder cattle? April down a quarter, 146.82. May was unchanged. You just don't see that very often. Just a few pennies here and then unchanged. That's a kind of a unique situation we're seeing here. But people in the cattle pits are really looking at the Prospective Plantings Report. I think it's 11 o'clock in the morning here on Wednesday, and that is going to be big news, because it could, if we should come in under 92 million acres on corn likely it's going to get higher, and then who knows where feed costs are going to go from there. But hopefully it'll be over 92 million acres for corn, hopefully up as high as 94, and then things will start easing up a little bit as far as feed costs. But May unchanged at 150, 220 sounds pretty darn good out there in about less than 6 weeks, 5 weeks or so, out there at 150, 220 when we're sitting at a market. But I tell you what, we're seeing 800-pound steers where things are perfect. If the conditions right, you got the right buyers there, you're in an area where you got some farmer feeders and stuff, they're bringing right up against 150 right now. But on the average, they won't bring it whenever you figure in all your other sales, especially you get down here in the southern plains. We got mixed bag kind of cattle. It just sounds like a stretch to get your average of 800-pound steers to bring it up in the 150s right now. But they're bound to be headed that way with 160 out there in the future. How about your fat cattle arena? Didn't see any trade at all really to speak of, except for the Texas cash pool. Consolidated beef producers still putting that deal together, trying to get that deal to gain traction, and at least people are talking about it, that's for sure. And they did have close to 1,000 head, had over 900 head of cattle in there, so it was enough to pick around on and enough to make a difference. And they had 4 active bids in there from 4 different packers, 114.98, 115 smooth, and 116.05, and then the winning bid was 116.11. And talked to Casey Bradshaw there earlier in the week, and it's that's not on the adjusted live grid anymore. It's back to straight cash. So just trying to find a place where you can get people to cooperate with that program. But you got to give consolidated beef producers a hand for trying to get something going. But 116.11 bought the cattle this week. That's higher, of course, than what our market was last week. We had some 115. In Texas, you really didn't get 116. Kansas, you did get some 116. Right now, we're working with the higher up in the plains you go, the bigger your premium is. And Nebraska is working off the best premium so far as cash sales. And a lot of people are expecting them to maybe touch 120 this week. For sure, 119. But I heard reports on Tuesday they've been hauling cattle out of Colorado, hauling cattle out of Kansas to slaughter in Nebraska plants. So we know that we've got some places that are kind of light on market-ready cattle, and right now it's in Nebraska. But 116.11, and that was your Texas cash pool price, and it was higher. So let's just push, and see how high we can get this thing. Like I said, your spot live cattle futures for just April, which is tomorrow, 121. Not too much to ask to get this market up there, 118 to 120 right here. How about box beef cutout values, especially when you look at that? Choice cuts on Tuesday afternoon up $5.30 at $244.83, nearly $245. Now our latest dressed cash cattle price is $185. So they get $60 a hundred just to cut it up. It kind of makes sense for Jim Herzog and a lot of these people that I know and we're talking about and hearing in the news to start building their own plant there if they're going to get that kind of money just to cut it up. So, I tell you what, and then you look at your drop value, which is nearly $10, $9.82. That's $130 a head drop value. There's money to be made in this packing deal, and every one of these small locker plants that expands, or every one of these new plants that starts up and then puts a retail shop there in the front, every one of them helps a little bit. And I just hope we continue to see more and more of it, because it chips away at our supply. And, the laws of supply and demand definitely have to come into play here. But I know we're dealing with monopoly, so we do need some help here with legislation to get things kind of balanced out there, where guys will come in and be active competitors in your current cash market. But let's look at your slaughter just through Tuesday. I know it's earlier in the week, but 239,000. That's 6,000 more than last week and 1,000 more than the same week a year ago. So back on track. Got the smoke blowing out of both stacks and all your plants, around the circuit, and it's good to see that. How about what else is going on? Tomorrow, Thursday, April the 1st, got the A and B cattle's bull sale, 31st annual, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. A and B strives for optimum genetics that combine the most valuable traits while focusing on cattle that can function in any environment. 140 bulls up for sale just south of Bassett, Nebraska, right there in the Sand Hills. That's where they make the best cattle in the world. If you want to get some of those genetics, either be at that sale tomorrow on Thursday, April the 1st, or get on to dvauction.com, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You can view and bid right there. How about our feeder cattle market? Let's talk about your real-time index on DV Auction late in the day on Tuesday. 139.93, up $1.37. Tell you what, we gained over $1 on Monday. That's a 7-day moving average. Another $1.37 on Tuesday. I mean, this cash feeder market has just taken off. Look at these quotes out of Ozarks Regional Stockyard, West Plains, Missouri. 3,400 head there. Told you guys several times, they've got a lot of those continental type cattle there, and they're in the rocks. So they've got some calf weight yearlings in there, and I tell you what, this time of year, especially when guys are scrounging, trying to fill their orders for the Flint Hills and stuff, oh my gosh, can they get high. How about feeder and stocker steers selling $5 to $10 higher than last week? Your lightweight steer calves higher, but just $2 to $5 higher. Same on heifers. Feeder and stocker heifers, $6 to $9 higher in West Plains. Lightweight heifer calves, $10 to $13 higher. So I mean a sharply higher market at Ozarks Regional Stockyard. Good for them. They had a hell of a sale there in West Plains. How about some other places around the circuit? Denny Rezac Livestock Commission in St. Mary's, Kansas had a good run. 2,200 head there. I pulled a lot of these loads and bigger out of Cattle Market Central, and look how impressive those are. You know, it was just not that many weeks ago, just a few weeks ago, you could barely scrape $1.30 out of 8-weight steers. Now look at all these cattle they're bringing way up in there, and look at your stick out sale there towards the middle top there. 61 head, 812 pound steers, St. Mary's, Kansas. Bring $147. Wow, they're bringing big bucks everywhere. I saw a quote come out of Lone Star Stockyards, Bill Martin's sale right out here, Wildorado, Texas, there just west of Amarillo. 179 head string, 878 pound steers, scaring 900 pounds at $135.75. Hard to do that, you know, in the shadow of all these feedlots. They'd rather give more somewhere else. How about some other places? Kimball Livestock Exchange, Kimball, South Dakota, 3,700 head there. Had a lot of big cattle on offer. How about, look at these, your best tested weights on this automated market report. 644 head of the 7-weight steers, average 745 at 152.19 on the average. That's up $3.20 compared to the weighted average. In that 7-weight category, it included 147 steers, weighed 721 at 158.25. Wow. 930 head of the 8-weight steers in Kimball, averaged 837 at 143.78. That was up $5.50 on the weighted average compared to the previous week. And 591 head of the 9-weight steers, Kimball, South Dakota, weighed 937 on the average at 136.45, over $3 higher than the weighted average of last week, and had a good sale last week. They have a good sale every week, Kimball Livestock Exchange. How about some stick out sales that I saw all around the circuit? I'm going to give you several of them. A good sale for my friend Eric Dries, who manages Seven Rivers Livestock Commission in Emmett, Idaho. Had over 1,000 head, guys. That's right on the outskirts of Boise, Idaho. And man, did he have a good sale on Tuesday there. Had a string of lightweight steers, 76 head of them, weighed 463 and $194.75. That's over $900 a head for a little old calf that might run between your legs, guys. How about some other quotes? Lolly Brothers Livestock Market, Macon, Missouri. 66 head, 727 pound steers, bring 152 and a quarter. That's over $1,100 a head. Miles City Livestock Commission, Miles City, Montana. 81 head, 550 pound steers, bring $190. Nearly $1,045 a head. But the best quote that I saw anywhere, it tickles me to death to give it to them, but North Platte Stockyards, Kyle Lehman, my good friend there and a world-class auctioneer, he had the Zach Tran top quote for the day. Mark Buckley cattle, right there local. I mean, some green steers. They were all black but green in condition, running on ryegrass and stalks there. And I tell you what, 63 head, 620 pound steers, North Platte, Nebraska, $174.75. And that's your feeder flash for Wednesday.